when we did I'm Too Sexy, every single record label said no.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me.
We found ourselves in a position of having no record deal, but with a record happening. We had a band that had never been a band. We had a manager who had never been a manager.
A record company that had never been a manager.
And we had a record company who had never been a record company.
Too sexy for my shirt, so sexy.
They would just take a suitcase in and put it in front of the DJ, and the suitcase would have 3 sections in it: cocaine, cocaine, money, or a gun.
We got invited to some strange parties, but we've both got quite a good sense of, we can smell when something's not right.
Too sexy for your party, the way I'm disco dancing.
The government doesn't need to stop it. What you do is you get people to stop it on their neighbours. That's how you do it.
Yeah, on the catwalk, on the catwalk.
Having an opinion in the UK now is actually an issue. You cannot just have an opinion. It has to be either part of the narrative or you're a conspiracy theorist. It's one of the two. We're dealing with some very, very, very sort of skewed people in government. They are extremely dangerous people.
I'm too sexy for my car, too sexy for my car.
Okay.
Right, gentlemen,
Yes.
thank you so much for coming here
Pleasure.
today and
Pleasure.
giving me your time. It's a real pleasure for me, and I grew up with your music.
Well, so did we.
You told me 20 years ago that I'd be sat across the table having a conversation with you guys. I wouldn't have believed it at all. So you guys were a massive hit sensation in the 90s, and you're famous for the fact that you sort of worked outside the standard industry model originally.
Yeah, we did.
What led you to want to do it that way?
We had no choice, because when we did I'm Too Sexy, every single record label said no.
Yeah.
So we then were convinced it was worth releasing.
Yeah.
And we met a young girl who was working at the at Red Bus Studios, said, I think this is a hit record. Can I manage you if I get it on the radio?
Yeah.
We said,
Never thinking she would.
At that point,
Ever.
we were like, yeah, okay. And she got it, along with the plugging company, she got it onto Simon Bates, the breakfast show, and onto Gary Crowley in the evening. And it just sparked. It just went. So we found ourselves in a position of having no record deal, but with a record happening.
Yeah.
The plugging company it created a record label called Tug Records, which would just to service that single. And then licensing deals were done throughout the world, because the speed of the record was extraordinary.
Yeah.
So what happened was that we had played in bands, and Rob, the third member, had played in bands, but we hadn't played in a band together. So what happened when Sexy started to break? We had a band that had never been a band. We had a manager who had never been a manager.
A record company that had never been a manager.
And we had a record company who had never been a record company.
For people who were looking outside at it at the time, it must have looked really organised.
Yeah.
Really sort of, there was a plan and some kind of Machiavellian puppet master behind the whole thing. And it wasn't like that at all. It was just
chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Daily chaos.
Is there a funny story of the time that you actually recorded the record as well? Wasn't the record studio closed down?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
had to do it with the lights off.
Yeah, we had to do it.
The only lights were off the desk.
Yeah. It was in Ealing, and it'd gone into administration.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know how we found the studio now, I can't remember. And the guy said, if you bung me some cash, I'm sort of looking after it.
I've got the keys.
I've got the keys, but you can't put the lights on because they'll know you're in here.
Yeah.
So that's where you did the vocal, wasn't it?
That's where I did the vocal, and also it's where I did, we thought we'll do different translations. So I did it in Italian and French and everything else.
Wow.
But interestingly enough, in all the other languages that I did, they played the English version because my accent was so terrible.
It was
They
appalling.
couldn't understand a word I was saying, so all they played was the English version.
Yeah.
But yeah, did it in a dark studio. Basically, it was just
I mean, the record was put together. We did one session with Brian Pugsley. That was the first guy. Then we did another session with the guy who put the brass in, and then we did the final session at Red Bus where Phil Spalding put the bass on,
Yeah.
and the party sample was added and different things like that. And the record suddenly came together. It didn't come together. We knew it wasn't right at the beginning, but we
gradually,
kind of, bit by bit, we pieced it
the
together.
big difference was Phil putting live bass on it. That was the big, for me at least.
Yeah, I mean, such a great player.
It was really, because originally it was on synth.
Yeah.
And it didn't have, still the same pattern, it's still the same pattern, but it didn't have any attack really. And Phil was quite an aggressive player and played with a pick. And that's when when it came back off the speakers, I thought, oh, okay, now I'm beginning to hear this. I can hear this. It had a lot more punch than it did before. And we did it just because we liked it. We just thought it was funny. It made us laugh. To mix it, we got a loan from the Midland Bank. If you remember.
Yeah, we had to,
they don't even exist anymore.
No, they don't exactly.
HSBC, aren't they? Yeah.
The idea of going to a bank and getting a loan for anything,
Yeah.
it's for the birds. So back in the day, it really was just a wing and a prayer completely.
Yeah, there was no
nothing,
structure.
no.
Everyone, we kept on saying, "Oh, the project. You've taken years to go down the gym and you shaved your head."
And it's all part of a plan.
I mean, we shaved heads because our hair started falling out. And I went down the gym because we just got the bug. We started
Was it
training.
your gym?
No,
we just managed it.
You managed it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We started training. Richard started training when we lived in New York, and then we both got into it about 84, 85.
Yeah. I worked in a gym that was 90% gay, so they had me on the desk because they thought I had a posh voice.
Right.
So they put me on reception, and it was 70% gay. So everybody that came in, any new members that came in, had to be told by me that if you have a problem with it being 70% gay, then this is probably not the gym for you.
Yeah.
And the other duty I had was to go into. They had a steam room attached to the gym, and I had to open the door about every hour or so and say, "Stop it," and then shut.
Even if they're not doing it.
Even if they're not doing anything. Yeah, and that was, but that was just prior to HIV hitting New York.
Yeah.
That was just prior to it, and at the time, New York had a plethora of clubs and gay bars.
great,
And it was a really good place.
Yeah.
And to see the way New York is going now is quite depressing. It was a very lively and entrepreneurial town, very vibrant, and quite violent actually.
Yeah.
But that comes with violence comes with invention.
Yeah.
If you try and tidy anything up, that's why politicians are so hopeless at everything. Because they're like bouncers. They try and tidy everything up and keep it clean and tidy and controllable.
Well, certainly on the outside anyway.
Yeah, on the outside. On the outside.
Yeah.
But once you do that, you lose any entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And New York had plenty of that when we were
Yeah.
there. We stayed at the crack house, and it was all very
It was
bizarre.
mad, yeah.
Tough times create invention, though, don't they?
They do,
And
absolutely.
strong
They
people.
do.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
You have to have
That
them.
saying, tough times make strong leaders.
Absolutely
Yes.
true.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
true.
And good times make good men.
Yeah.
Which is 100% true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
we've
why I
got-
think we now have I'm only guessing because I don't have children, but my guess is there's a generation of kids 25 and under, who have no idea that the privileges they have need to be earned and defended.
They were
They just think they're hardwired to think that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's not.
I think actually they're probably hardwired just to not think it
Or not think.
Yeah,
at
that's
all
true.
at the moment. They
yeah.
are directed in every direction of their life now, and they're exposed to so many things at such a young age via the government and through the educational system. That I don't believe that they should be.
No, I agree.
I've got 2 children with my first wife. They're in full-time education.
Right.
And then my last partner, I have 2 children with her as
Right,
well.
right.
And they're homeschooled.
Right,
I
yeah.
never wanted to put them in the education
No,
system.
no.
My son Barnaby, he went in for I think a couple of months and he couldn't stand
No,
it.
no.
And then you see what is going on in schools today.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think it's absolutely horrific.
Well,
It is
it's weird. I was saying to Fred when I was at college, there's a book called The World Turned Upside Down. I can't remember the guy's name, historian. And it was dedicated reading. You were given the book and you had to read it and write essays on it and everything else. It's only now that when I look back at the guy's name, begins with an H, which I can't remember, he was a lifelong Marxist.
Yeah.
So therefore, I was given that book to read. They didn't give me a book by, a far right guy. They gave me that book, and that was the level of indoctrination that you're not really aware of, I don't think, when you're a kid. It happens surreptitiously, I think, and you just assume, like when we were talking about this earlier, when I was a kid, you just believed the police, you believed the papers, you believed the politicians, you believed it all. And now you realise actually it's all just a pack of nonsense.
It is.
The whole thing is just a pack of nonsense. I don't even believe the moon landings now.
Well, this
Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's certainly up for debate.
It's up for the
It's
debate.
certainly on the cards are on the table.
Yeah, they are,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think that's the same with everything now. Is it
Yeah.
9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
JFK, RFK, and all these people.
Yeah.
Mental.
It is up for debate.
Yeah.
And maybe no one's necessarily got the answer, but it's certainly open for discussion.
And now it turns out maybe the CIA killed Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, I've read that
And-
many times.
well,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just-
yeah. Well, it wasn't some bloke in a deposit,
No,
was it?
exactly. And
his
then
dodgy
Jack
rifle.
Ruby killed that bloke.
Yeah, then Jack Ruby.
killed.
Yeah.
It was
And then with what's his name, the guy from Turning Point US.
Charlie
oh,
Kirk.
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
that
oh.
assassination. I mean,
That's all strange.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
terrific. Yeah.
Well, we were in Germany at the time, and I just turned on the news. And a friend of mine sent the link to
Yeah.
me. I was sitting up in bed at 7 in
Saw
the
the
morning.
actual video.
And oh fuck!
I can't stand it.
Excuse
No,
me.
And
I
there's-
saw it once and I wasn't expecting
No.
to see
Yeah,
it.
No.
what drives me mad with things
Horrible,
like that, I mean, apart from
absolutely
the sadness of it, is within minutes, some people think they know it's a false flag.
Yeah.
They know who did it.
Yeah.
They're convinced
He did it
was-
himself.
Yeah.
It
He's
was-
still alive.
yeah.
He's on an island with Michael Jackson.
And Elvis.
Yeah, and maybe he is, but and someone said to me the other,
Yeah,
we get
exactly.
it quite a lot that we are paid opposition. So I said, okay, let's just say, okay,
Show me the stuff.
can you show me?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
the
show me
money.
the receipts for that?
Yeah.
Show me where we've been paid. I don't have an island.
Yeah.
I'm not on the Epstein files. So where's this payment coming from and who to?
Also, somebody said, if you're not on the Epstein files, you're a loser.
That was Victoria
Can you
Hervey.
I know.
How can you believe
You
it?
see her?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
Anyway,
talking about the Epstein files and
Yeah.
obviously knowing what we know now about politicians, people in Hollywood and everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Epstein files are riddled with
Yes.
famous people.
Yes, they
We've
are.
all
Yes.
heard about
Yes.
certain people that
Yeah.
feature on them prominently.
Mm.
What was it like in the 90s? Did you I mean, with the people that you mixed with in the music industry, did you find that there was any underlying seedy tone or?
We got
sort of. I
some-
don't think we were young enough or pretty enough
Yeah.
to be serious targets.
I
but
think
there
if
was.
we'd
Sorry.
so if we'd broken younger,
I think if we'd broken younger, there was a guy. I won't say the name, but he put his hand on my crutch in a nightclub. He was an A&R man, and he said,
Let's do a deal.
Let's do a deal.
Yeah.
And that was obvious.
and we had a meeting.
So we did the deal. No, we didn't.
We had a meeting with a record company exec, and it ended up the meeting was going to be in the office, and it went to another place. Then it ended up in a home, and when we arrived at home, she's upstairs
up
in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, this isn't really working for us,
Yeah.
So we had it in that way. We got invited to some strange parties, but we've both got quite a good sense of, we can smell when something's not right.
Yeah.
And we went to an after show party. I think it was in
Very,
Kent.
very early days.
Yeah.
This was really.
And we walked into this big house, loads of posh cars everywhere, and walked in. I thought, this guy's got a lot of children or someone, and there's like early teens, a lot of early teens
Yeah.
floating around. And I thought, they're up late, and then suddenly, I don't want to be here.
Had an indoor swimming pool and the whole thing.
Yeah, so we
yeah.
just you think the best thing, you just walk away because you've got no facts.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We just walked in. He might say, well, this is my daughter and this is their friends, and we'll let them stay
You
up
just
to
have
me.
to go
You
and
don't know.
you gut
It
it.
felt wrong.
But yeah, I mean,
It's your
you
gut
trust
feeling.
your instinct.
Yeah.
Yes,
and you
but-
get the hell out.
Yeah.
I think the music business particularly has had these two things. So you've had the sexual aspect of it, like entertainment generally, but you've also had the drug aspect of it. And we know a guy who was talking about A&R back in the day, and when they wanted to get a radio station to play a record, they would just take a suitcase in and put it in front of the DJ, and the suitcase would have 3 sections in it: cocaine, money, or a gun.
Yeah.
It's up to you, mate.
Like that.
So that it's
It's like that line from Love Actually, don't
Yes.
do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
Become a rock star and they give you them for free.
exactly.
Only for a while, though.
but only for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've got you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
they give
they-
you the good stuff to start with.
Yeah, you
exactly.
get a fixer when you get because I used to dabble quite a lot, and they'll sort you out with the fixer, and then you have to start paying for your own. Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
last. That doesn't
We
last.
would-
Or just used as a control mechanism.
Yes, it
Very
is,
much
yes,
so. Yeah. But also, well, you can. People can work on cocaine. They can't work on heroin, really.
No.
Which is why they'll throw you under the bus if your drugs aren't working for them.
I remember seeing as a kid, there was a thing on TV about people who were heroin addicts but could function.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was a heroin addict and could function theoretically was a bricklayer. And they were talking to him and blah, blah, and he looked fine and everything. Then they showed you an example of the wall he'd built.
Not good.
Not good. Not good.
I know through bricklayers like that.
So that's. But we never really came into contact with that. It was. I think you get to a point where if you're really that ambitious, and you can smell it, then I think you make those moves.
Yeah.
We were in a dressing room after a show in LA, and the guy from Die Hard was it?
Joel Silver.
Joel Silver,
very successful, famous.
Wanted us to be a
producer.
couple of bouncers in one of these Die Hard movies.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
And we didn't take his number. We were a bit drunk and tired, didn't care. Now, if you're really focused on money and fame, that's when you move in. You've got to be aware of that. It's like having a knockout punch if you're a boxer. Yeah. You've either got it or you haven't. Yeah. And we decided that wasn't our.
Yeah, we aren't very motivated by that. We stopped doing all the after shows, red carpets. Yeah. We just don't.
I just wanted to get back to my boyfriend. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do.
We just couldn't. Well, it wasn't for us. So we sort of dipped our toe in. It wasn't for us. And then mid-90s, we sort of set up our own label, and at that point, we knew that we'd have to spend most of our time working abroad. The UK is not really our friend. The media really don't like us here. In fact, Richard used to be mates with Kenny Everett. And Kenny said to Richard after Sexy gone #1 in America, he said, they'll never forgive you because you've proved them wrong, not just with a hit record, but with this enormous song. And he said, they'll never forgive you. And he was right. They never have.
I mean, it was an enormous song.
Yeah, it was.
Still is. It's one of those songs.
It's one of those songs.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, well, it's been #1 in America 4 times.
Yeah.
Because of Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Drake.
Was it #2
over here?
UK, you were going up against Bryan Adams.
Yes.
With that bastard song that stayed in the charts for 12 weeks.
What was it? Everything I Did for You. What was interesting about that? They did a survey about because we were #2, and everybody was trying to find out who was buying this #1 record. Who was buying it? So they did the survey, and they asked dozens and dozens, hundreds of people, and nobody would admit it.
No.
Nobody would.
That was bizarre, though, how long that song.
I know.
I think it was 16 weeks. Wasn't it? Something mad, wasn't it?
Also, I think they tried to take it off the movie. It was an outplay. It was an outro music, wasn't it, on the movie Robin Hood?
It may have been.
And I think they initially, a bit like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, they tried to take that out of the movie, and it's because people behind the desk very often don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it was in a way because we didn't really think about it really. I mean, we were just happy to get a top 40 record, let alone a top 5 record, and then it broke across Europe so quickly and was sort of top 5, top 10 everywhere, and then broke in America on import. Yeah. And went top 40, and then I think Charisma picked it up. Then it went #1. We were just #1 in America with your first record. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, people say to us, "Oh, you must have been really disappointed when it just went to #2 in the UK." Are you kidding? We came from nowhere.
Yeah.
Top 10, top 40, top 50 would have been great.
Yeah.
But you were also at #2 for a decent amount.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah, about 6 weeks. A long time. So, yeah.
And we would tune in, and the other band was Let's Talk About Sex. Remember that?
Oh yes,
that was
Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
Great record,
that was. So we were always listening to the charts at that time, and that was, of course, we were talking to someone yesterday about if you were asked anybody in this town, probably what's #1 now, nobody would know.
I haven't got a clue.
Nobody would know. But back in the day, everybody knew what #1 was.
It doesn't matter so much,
and it doesn't matter so much because of streaming and everything else now. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's great to have. We had a #1 last year with a song called Wunderbar in the Heritage chart. It's great to see your name. Of course,
I like being silly. I think it's great.
And it's great to see your name there.
But doing a bit of that to the business.
In terms of what's a hit record now, it's all changed. Yeah. What's a hit record if you get a song into a video game or a commercial or a movie? That's a hit record. Yeah. Just popping in and out the charts.
Also,
great.
We did Spring Break in America. And all the bands on there, these are really cute girls and some really cute guys, and everybody's slim and fit and everything else. And we'd been down the gym. I wore boots, big black boots, hot pants, and nothing else. I don't think. I can't remember.
I can't remember.
And I saw it was on the front page of Smash Hits. Remember Smash Hits?
I do remember Smash Hits.
Had a big picture of us on stage, and it just went ugh. I love it. Yeah. It's so, because it's just, oh, come on, this is just pop music. Do you know what I mean? The music is important and what you do is important, but the actual business side of it, and the PR side of it, and the sort of the look at me side of it is just silly. It's just a bit silly, really.
Yeah.
But the music is, I think, really important.
So you go from that and then move forward a few years, and here you are now. You speak out politically a lot.
More than we should, probably.
How has that affected you? Do you get any pushback from your old fan base or anything like that?
Yeah, we never got pushback from fans. We never, if we did, we didn't really notice. The pushback we got was from the media.
Yeah. And the industry.
And the industry, yeah. And initially what we did was we just went out to demonstrations, not particularly because we were convinced of the cause, but we had never been to a demonstration before. I just wanted to see what it was like. Yeah. So we went to Trafalgar Square and we hung out on the periphery. And then some of the newspapers and people saw us, blah, blah, blah. And then Piers Morgan just threw his toys out the pram. And
that's not like Piers.
I know, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So stable.
Yeah, went mental. And so suddenly we realised that having an opinion in the UK now is actually an issue.
Yeah.
You cannot just have an opinion. Yeah. It has to be either part of the narrative or you're a conspiracy theorist. It's one of the two.
Unless you're left wing, in which case you can be famous and spout it.
Yeah, and spout it.
Yes, you can.
Exactly.
I mean, the music industry is generally left of centre.
Yeah,
and Hollywood.
And Hollywood, yeah. Hollywood. But you're not really meant to, you're allowed, as you say, you're allowed to voice opinion as long as it fits the narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if it doesn't fit the narrative, suddenly you're speaking out.
Yeah.
You're not voicing an opinion.
Out, yes.
You're suddenly speaking out. And so we were surprised at. We thought in 2020. We thought when we just went along to this protest, which you said, we didn't think anything about it. I didn't really think it was a big deal. Then the next day on social media, I'm just seeing all these comments and stuff like, what's the big deal? We just went to a protest.
Yeah. What was the protest for?
The protest was not anti-lockdown. Yes, it was anti-lockdown because it was the first lockdown. It was March 23rd, yeah.
We just felt, I mean, I've said this a million times and I still think it's true, which is you don't need to be a cordon bleu chef to know if the fish is off.
Yeah.
If the fish is off, the whole place stinks. And that's what I felt. We're not medics. We're not epidemiologists or anything like that.
Bill Gates.
But then nor is Bill Gates, nor is Boris Johnson. So if it doesn't feel right, then clock it and come to your own decision. But sadly, an awful lot of people just did what Boris Johnson and those two dubious doctors said, and it didn't strike us as also the ludicrous nature of mask on when you sit down or mask off when you stand. It was just all mad.
I don't know how anyone bought it for a second.
No, it was a mystery.
It was just nonsense.
It was
from
a
the beginning.
Yeah.
And we live not far from Heathrow.
Yeah.
So after the first, we were in this bar on the lockdown and everyone closed the door. So we went home and this is weird, And then a couple of days later, I said to Richard, notice the
planes coming in.
Flight path, really busy. Well, it's not much for a bloody lockdown. So we went up to Heathrow, went up to Terminal 5, arrivals. And I used to have the photos of the arrival board, but it was Sao Paulo, Beijing, Hong Kong, everything. It was. So I suddenly thought to myself, so they're checking everyone who comes in? Yeah. Nah, they're not. So who's this lockdown for? Yeah. And why are they locking down healthy people? Then they're closing gyms, but leaving
McDonald's open,
fast food open, and closing churches. I thought, nah, this is all nonsense. So we ignored everything.
Yeah.
We actually ignored everything. We got into trouble for it a little bit, and then what I was surprised at was the kickback we got from the industry. Bands like Sleaford Mods blocked us, Simply Red blocked us, James Blunt said a couple of things, and what
a surprise!
Yeah, I think you'll find Blunt is Cockney rhyming.
Yeah. And then you just think, why can't you think these people would just like have to go? Well, that's their opinion. I don't agree with them. Yeah. That's the opinion. But it didn't. Then our agents rang up, emailed us and said, festivals started getting cancelled. So some of it because of the lockdown.
That's right, yeah.
Every festival's getting cancelled. Yeah. And then when they were getting rebooked, we were getting cancelled. And I was saying, well, what's the problem? It was either 9 times out of 10, it was the promoter who thought we were too controversial. But it was also other bands complaining we were on the bill because we had spoken out,
One promoter said, you can do the gig, but would you mind signing a piece of paper asserting the fact that you are not fascists? What? Dear Mr. So-and-so, I am not a fascist.
Can you imagine doing that?
What I don't understand,
it was mental.
It's the fact that if you were out there spouting left-wing ideology, you would be given a gramophone. And
Yes, we would.
Yes, you would.
Yes, we would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody would be cheering you on, going, "Oh, heroes! Look how brave you are!"
Yeah.
You know, and what's his name? The bloke who got at Glastonbury.
Bob Villain.
Oh,
yeah,
Villain. Yeah.
yeah. You know, and
I know.
Well, his biggest crime is being shit, isn't it?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, that's his biggest crime.
Yeah.
I quite like a bit of rap, but he's rubbish.
But if you go back to a few years before that, you had Jeremy Corbyn
Yeah.
at Glastonbury.
He can't rap either.
He can't.
He's shit at it.
He's crap at rapping.
Yeah, he looks good on a park bench, though, doesn't he?
But so my thing with that, more than anything else, was that if Piers Morgan actually gave a rat's ass about ordinary people, truly, he would realise he's taking stage time from a band.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's stopping some band having half an hour on stage because he wants to pontificate.
Yeah.
That for me is inexcusable, and it proves to me that he doesn't know anything about anybody. But then you see pictures of Corbyn out with stop more immigration, stop the far right. It's a complete illusion.
Well, it was fabricated, and I believe, and it was completely fabricated at the poor time that those poor girls were stabbed.
Yeah. Oh, they stopped her.
People were labelled as
Yes,
far right.
yeah.
They were trying to create a situation where they were trying to create division,
yeah,
divide
they were.
and conquer.
Yeah, yeah.
We want the people to riot.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want it to get out of
Yeah.
control. I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they said that that's what COVID was supposed to do. It was supposed to mean that people would rebel, and then they have an excuse to do X, Y, and Z.
But they didn't. They all complied.
No.
Yeah, they all complied. I don't think they will anymore.
No, exactly.
I mean, when we were touring in Russia and then the Baltics, we've come face to face with the far right, really up close and personal.
They're not nice.
Real far right.
They are really scary.
They stand in front of you while you're doing a show.
Yeah, while you're playing, they're doing this. I mean, they're very scary.
Oh,
people.
you want to shave? Right. Is that what it is?
And so the few idiots we have over in the UK, they're not far right. They're just a bunch of idiots.
Describing Nigel Farage as far right is a joke. It really is a joke. There are lots of things about Nigel Farage that I don't agree with reform, but I think to describe him or Rupert Lowe as far right is completely.
But far right,
it's dog whistle stuff. It really is.
It's just you don't agree with me, or you're a fascist.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't agree with me, you're Hitler.
It's
all, it's like, oh come on.
I know.
Elon Musk and his...
And then suddenly, Emmanuel Macron does it, and everything's cool.
I know.
And his wonderful husband.
Yes, exactly. I hope they're happy
Some of
together.
the pictures on socials about that are so funny.
Yeah, because they haven't.
That's so funny.
Candice, they haven't gone after Candice Owens, have they?
No,
they won't.
Yeah.
No, but they can't.
They can't.
No, I don't think they can.
It's so obviously true.
And the
There's
two
no legal recourse.
Yes,
No.
exactly. The two journalists, I think, won their case in France. I think, I mean, it's interesting.
It is. It has been. It's just been weird in the music business because the music business, as you say, has not music, but entertainment generally has complied completely with what the government and the so-called medics said, I mean now. So you'll have a church burning down, say in Southall this morning, and you have Starmer pledging £10 million to a mosque that had its foyer burnt down. But when a church gets burned down in Southall, I guarantee you'll hear nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what you're dealing with. We're dealing with some very, very, very sort of skewed people in government. They are extremely dangerous people. And I don't know why we're tolerating it. I think British people just kind of shrug their shoulders and hope that it'll just pass.
Absolutely, you're right.
I think
or
that's
you
what it
give
is.
them the evidence and they'll just not believe it. And
yeah.
go, but that can't be true.
Yeah.
But it isn't, though, is it?
No,
it is.
Well, it is.
It is.
I was talking to someone.
Brainwashed.
Yeah, it is.
A guy on my Facebook who's voted Labour, who's pro-Labour. I said, so you agree that industrial scale rape should not be investigated? Oh no, definitely should. Well, the entire Labour Party said it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So how do you?
And
no, they didn't.
and
No, they really did.
Yeah,
they really did.
And reform
And
backtrack.
Liberal Democrats.
And reform backtracked.
I think reform really put the nail in their coffin when they decided
Zahawi.
to bring Zahawi on board.
He was so
Yeah.
That's you're not listening to your base.
No, it's not great, is it?
They've lost it now.
But he was so rude. I mean, I don't know anything about him. But when that journalist stood up and asked maybe a silly question, I don't know. But when he said that whole "you must try harder next time," and it was so arrogant and so rude, I switched off from that immediately. You know,
I think we are in a dangerous place though in this country, because there are reasonable people like you and I that will go, look, immigration in this country needs to be sorted out. You know, that's not a racist matter. You know, I lived in Morocco for 9 months.
Right.
You know, if I had gone and behaved like an outward Christian and enforced my beliefs in Morocco, I would have had my hands chopped off. You know, that's just the way that it is. You know, we want to be able to save our identity in this country. We should have the right to do so. But it's dangerous you've got to find the fine line, right? And there's a lot of nuance.
There is.
Yes, because otherwise you do invite uneducated people that will just see the hatred and want to jump on board.
And it's becoming, also sadly, it's becoming a colour issue now.
Yeah, the minute that happens, I mean, we're in trouble, aren't we?
It's becoming a racist issue, which I can't stand.
Neither can I. That's what I'm worried about. The fact that we're in a position where we're actually breeding hate in the country.
We will.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, also when people use, like Rupert Lowe said, mass deportations, I don't agree with that either, because that's a hammer to crack a nut.
Yeah,
you know, and we've got, I won't mention, but we've got friends who are, we know they're illegal, but they've been here 25 years. They pay taxes, they run businesses,
have kids here,
kids. You should.
So do you want to throw those out? Really?
Seriously? One that earns a lot of money pays a lot of tax.
Yeah.
Why would you want to get rid of people like that?
Yeah.
You know. So I think it's a really, as you say, a really delicate and nuanced situation. You need someone who has got the balls to deal with that in a sensitive way, and not try and, you know, I look at some of the ICE stuff in America, and it seems really, I mean, I don't know the details, but it's you know, when people start dying, and I know they died under Obama as well, but it can't be the way.
Are they? The issue is, are they trained?
Yeah.
You know, how trained are they? I mean, there's one Somalian guy talking. And he was born in America. He's got an American ID. He's got the national insurance number, whatever it is, the equivalent. Yeah. He's an American. He's an American passport. Blah blah blah. And because he looked different, he was treated like an illegal immigrant, and was fuming. And he's quite right to be. Yeah. You know, just because he looks like he is Somalian facially, he's actually an American citizen. And unless you can make, as you say, unless that nuance is appreciated, you go down the get rid of them all nonsense.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to feel politically homeless.
Yeah, it is. Oh, very.
Because you can't find one single party that you actually go, I agree. You're always having to make a compromise. The compromise is normally on something quite big.
Someone said to me on Twitter the other day, I said I'm politically homeless. They said, the far right always say that.
Oh, God.
What? Do they? I don't think they do.
I think they know exactly where to go.
Extraordinary. So you've got this, you can't even say you're politically homeless anymore, you know.
The great thing
I agree with you. I wouldn't know where, if there was an election and I decided to vote, I don't know where I'd vote.
The great thing about music, and which is why you mentioned Bob Dylan and Glastonbury just now, the great thing about music is it should unite people.
Yes.
That's the point of it. It should make people feel good, or reflective, or whatever the song happens to be about, and it should be a positive thing in your life. Yeah. The problem with Glastonbury and the problem with Bob Dylan in particular, people like that, is they breed division.
Yes.
And Glastonbury, it used to be a festival of all sorts of music. Yeah. And now it's obviously so politically skewed, I don't think it really has a function as something that unifies people anymore.
Same as Kaiser Chiefs at Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
You know, let's hear it from Moderna, let's hear it, and if you're unvaccinated, losers. It's like, what are you doing?
It was horrible.
What are you doing? So There's been no apology from the band, from the festival. It seems extraordinary.
So when we get on stage, we have never, ever once done that, ever. Yeah.
In fact, we were offered a tour in the UK last year.
Yes, I remember this.
And so we're having I'm chatting with the guy online, this agent, and we're talking about sort of Rumble do, okay. And he said, well, before we go any further, I'll need it in writing that you won't be saying anything else. So I said, what do you mean saying anything else? Do you mean you want me to be mute for the rest?
Because they obviously think we spout off.
And we say we never talk about it. We just get on and play and we leave. We do what we do.
That's what people are paying to see.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he said, but if you say anything online, I go, go away.
Also, there was a gig we were offered, and we didn't realise this at the time, but a lot of the people who were going to be in attendance were German politicians, quite high-ranking German politicians. And it was the gig was all sorted, it was all fine, and then it was pulled, right? And then we wondered why that was, so we asked the question. And the reason was because they had gone through our Twitter and seen what we thought of politicians. And decided we probably weren't the act to have.
The removal of freedom of speech through the back door.
It is.
It's almost impossible.
It is. I was reading something the other day about freedom of speech, and what's interesting is that if it's done right or wrong, depending on how you look at it, the government doesn't need to stop it. What you do is you get people to stop it on their neighbours.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You don't do it from the top down. You do it inside. So kids report on their parents, parents report on their neighbours. That's how you kill it. Yeah. And I remember during the COVID thing, do you remember where it was
snitch?
Being encouraged to snitch.
One of my neighbours did it to me here. I mean, this pub that we're sitting in at the moment, as I told you before, I used to own this pub.
Yeah.
But during lockdown, I and my wife at the time sat outside on the benches outside, gin and tonic, nice summer day, and the police stopped by.
No.
Somebody had phoned them and told them we were open.
No.
Not right now, but if you come back in about 4 hours, there'll be people coming through the back door.
Exactly.
I turned one of the hotel rooms upstairs into a little cinema.
Right.
My friends used to come through the back door into the cover of darkness. Right, come on, we've got a bar to drink.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we used to eat, a local restaurant was very kind to us. And during when you're not allowed out and not allowed to eat out, we used to sit behind a whole pile of pizza boxes and eat service. And there's service, exactly.
Can't say pizza.
You can't say pizza.
That's true. Look at how that's gone.
Oh my! I didn't see that. I didn't believe that when I first saw pizza. Come on, and now it's as real as anything.
Oh, I did a search on the files.
Don't.
It's written all over it.
Yeah, it's horrendous. It is so dark.
Same with Wayfair. Was it Wayfair?
Yeah,
selling furniture cabinets for like £15,000, and it was actually code for a girl or a boy.
Yeah. Allegedly,
Your Honour. Your Honour.
Let's not get ourselves in any trouble.
No, but you know what I mean.
I mean, it is absolutely horrific, and all that stuff that's gone on is still going on. It's I think the term that is used nowadays is sort of spiritual warfare. Which I like the term. I mean, I don't think you need to be necessarily overly religious.
No, you don't.
To believe in that.
No.
I always say to people, you don't need to believe in God to believe that people act in the name of the devil.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
There's a lot of that going on at the moment, and it's the seedy cesspit behind the powers that be all around the world.
I think there's a darkness.
Yeah.
I know people. So I listen to David Icke talking about low vibrations, and I understand what he's saying. That's what the UK feels like. It feels quite an underwhelming place at the moment. I think people are concerned. We get people coming up to us who we've never met in our lives. They go, "What's going on?" As if we know. This. I'll tell you what. And they go, "What's going on? I'm so fed up all the time." And then people don't believe the weather anymore. Speaking to a guy at the restaurant we go to, and he said, "Well, this is just all seeding." Yeah. And that's how people think now. I'm not saying it's not or it is. But
I sort of have an inside track with somebody that I'm very close with who works in a weather capacity. I won't say their name because they'll get in trouble. But I mean, they also believe that they've seen, the footage, the data coming in from the Met Office that's falsified. They have fake stations that don't exist. Right. They manipulate it. They used to be able to accurately predict the weather 3 days out.
That's right.
They don't know what it's going to do.
Right.
Depends which pilots are available.
And we're in February now, and I think we've had 1 day. We've actually seen the sun.
I know, it's weird. Isn't
was it 40 days of rain? Was it something like that? Was it really very biblical?
I think you remember during after the Second World War, or as the Second World War was coming to an end, a lot of German people refused to acknowledge the camps. They just refused because it was, and in the UK and probably in the West too, in the UK and America, because it was so horrific and so devilish that people just refused to believe it. And I think that attitude pertains now. I think people just it's so bad in so many different ways and in so many different places. People just switch off. They just bury themselves in their bubble, in their work, in whatever they're doing, and don't really want to address it because it is just too horrible to imagine.
I wonder if it's worse now than it's ever been, or if it's always been this way.
I think it's always been
social media and technology that we have the ability to.
That's why.
Exactly and I think COVID was a big reveal, a bit like Brexit. You suddenly see how people act. And up to Brexit, I just thought, I voted Leave. I just thought that was a better option. If there had been an option to have the old EEC, I would have gone for that trading block. I think that's a good idea, but there wasn't, and I didn't think it was a big deal. And then suddenly people are shouting at each other, gammon, Remainer, and
they still do it now.
Yeah.
It's really.
It's like
it's very odd.
I just have a different opinion to you. That's it.
I didn't vote on it. And the reason why I didn't vote on it is because I felt like neither side were actually giving me the proper information.
No, they weren't. I agree.
I needed to make an informed decision.
No.
So if I can't make an informed decision, I'm not going to make one.
But also the gerrymandering that went on afterwards in the House of Commons, it was clear that the blob, the state, did not like the result.
No.
Cameron resigned almost immediately because it wasn't what he wanted. And there was that woman, I can't remember her name now, who mounted this legal challenge.
Oh,
to
Miller.
Miller.
Was it
Gina
Miller?
Gina Miller.
Yeah.
And so there was definitely what struck me about that was the democratic will of the people means nothing when it's in contradiction to what the machine wants. So I X all the time, and my whole thing is liberty and freedom. That is it. I don't care what else you believe, but if you believe something that stops those two things or inhibits those two things, then I have a problem with it.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
I think that's
it.
the most important.
It's actually really simple. I'm not religious. I'm not Fred's more churchy than me.
You're not churchy at all.
I'm not churchy at all. But a lot of people they're using the cross and the Christianity as this kind of symbol of resistance, and I think that's a mistake. I really do. I think the symbol of resistance should be the principles of freedom. Regardless of your religion, regardless of anything else you believe, though the right to live your life as you choose. In the American Constitution, the pursuit of happiness. It's that. And I think it's a mistake to go down this. One thing we don't need is another book.
No.
Another thing we don't need is two people, one bloke over there with a book and one bloke over there with a book, shouting and screaming at each other about the relative values of their books. I don't think we need.
You don't need an ideology, do you?
We don't.
You
No,
just
we
need
don't.
a set of rules to decency to live by.
And just be. It sounds really corny, but be kind and be nice to people.
Yeah.
And
try to be.
Try to be. Yeah. It's
quite difficult.
It's not easy all the time.
It's not easy.
It's really difficult.
It's not easy. But the great thing about music is that we can, when we're writing and recording, when we're in the studio tomorrow, we can separate ourselves from it.
Yeah.
You can build a little place.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say you become unaware of what's going on around you or unmoved, but you can survive through it. And also, it's great when people come up to us and say, "Oh, thank you for doing that. That's a great song that cheers me up," and all that. So it's there's more to it than just writing a song. It has as you say, it has a kind of spiritual content. And we wrote a song, Spiritual War, because that's exactly what we think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the new singles, we're getting a lot of thumbs up for the new single because we did our sort of introverted bit for a while, and now we've sort of done hands in the air, anthemic, four on the floor, it's all what we do. And it's been very well received. And I quite like, we talked about this the other day with writing, when we're writing, quite often it's to escape the world, not reflect it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a lot of the music I listen to is to escape it. Because it's in front of me every day. I don't need reminding.
No, exactly. Exactly.
So I quite like using music for that. I listen to a lot of ZZ Top and that sort of Americana rock and stuff, and I love it because it is that.
Yeah.
Lagrange's, that whole.
It's just
such a groove and
exactly.
It's feel good.
The only person that can, I think, write musical commentary and not make it depressing is Bob Dylan. I think he's the only one. Blowing in the Wind doesn't make you sad.
Jake Bugg's doing a good job.
Jake Bugg's is not bad. Yeah, his is more earthy, I think, and a bit less spiritual. But Bob Dylan, Blowing in the Wind is a good example, is a reflection of something changing, but doesn't make you feel depressed. But like
That's brilliant.
The other thing we keep
For What It's Worth.
For What It's Worth. Yeah, exactly. Buffalo Springfield. Yeah.
There's a
Same
writer
kind of
called 5 Times August.
Yeah.
And he wrote a song called Whatever Happened to Us, I think 2021, something like that.
Yeah.
That is just a great song without it being depressing.
Great lyrics.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, very powerful song.
Yeah, really good.
And most of the stuff I listen to is American. I find a lot of British music so banal and processed, and you can tell it's the same writer, same producer, because there's only 3-4 labels anyway, and they're all sort of such a mosh pit of ideas.
That's the thing about sexy. I mean, people they particularly took the mickey in the early days. One of the things about it is what I like about it is it doesn't sound like anything else.
Yeah,
that's what I thought was really cool. And we went to do some songwriting with a guy a few years ago. Went to his studio in London, and the first thing he did, he said, "Now let's see what's happening in the top 10 in Germany." No.
Why?
Why would you do that? Because by the time we've recorded it and finished it, that top 10's gone.
Yeah.
So you have to think completely independently, and you just have to and not pay any attention to what's going on around you. If another band does something that you think actually that's really cool, or a bass player does something, then you should clock it and you should take it on board, but you shouldn't copy it.
No.
You should, so there's a thin line, I think, between copying and homage and all that.
I think the music industry is a bit of a beast in itself, isn't it? I mean,
is, yeah.
you know, they've used the music industry for years to dictate
Absolutely.
public discourse.
Yeah,
of course they have.
yeah.
And you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you were an operative, if you worked for the CIA or whoever, and you saw the music industry back in the 60s, you'd go, we'll have a bit of that.
yeah, exactly.
That's
You
what
would.
they did with gangster rap music.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
They created that whole scene.
Yeah.
And one thing we didn't realise was obviously if you're a big star, you're a great asset because you can go through customs without being checked.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, well, maybe Glenn Miller was actually shot down because he was an asset.
Well, Houdini was.
Houdini was an
asset.
asset.
CIA have
He was
admitted
a CIA.
asset.
Yeah. So
It makes you wonder.
it does make you wonder now.
Yeah.
All these people
And
going
the hippie
backwards and
movement,
forwards.
how that was
Yeah.
manipulated. And,
Yeah, MK Ultra and all that stuff, and a lot of the people that we were talking about earlier, some people like the Doors, the singer from the Doors. You know, they had their fathers and mothers, and they were top flight military people.
Yeah, Frank Zappa,
Frank Zappa, these people were
Jim Morrison. It's
strongly
quite
connected.
interesting the tentacles. You know
Yeah.
how relevant they are. I
Yeah.
don't know.
That
But
was his name, Chester Bedingfield from
Yes.
Linkin Park.
Yes.
John Podesta.
Yes,
That's the link there.
Yeah.
Oh, is
I
it?
thought that John Podesta was his father.
Right.
I've never heard that.
And if you look at the two of them side by side,
Oh, really?
they're absolutely identical to each other.
Isn't it like Harry and
Seriously?
Hewitt?
I met James Hewitt.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
I've
So
met James Hewitt.
He
Yeah.
was groomsman at my sister's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're watching this, I'm sorry. And he was. We were the last two people up. Everybody else had gone to bed.
Right.
I was about 17 or 18.
Right.
And we were in this hotel reception room in Lincoln,
Right.
in the Bailgate, absolutely twatted. And I turned around to him and said, "So, can you tell me, is Prince Harry your son?"
Yeah.
"You're a clever boy, Digby, you can figure it out for yourself." He then spent 30 seconds chatting up a barmaid and went, "Anyway, we're going now." And she went, "Am I?" And like, walked off and got in the lift.
Right.
"See you later, James."
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just. It's weird.
Interesting guy.
It's weird how everything is unravelled very quickly.
Yeah.
I think in the last year to 2 years, I think it's unravelled, and the royal family unravelling as it is.
And they are.
And they are. Is really
It's not a good
interesting.
look, is it?
I think it's funny how when Princess Diana died, God rest her soul, most of the country was turning around and going, "The royal family did it."
Yeah,
I think,
rid of her.
yeah, I think they
And then they all just accepted the fact that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
case and
Yeah.
moved on and loved the
Yeah.
Queen.
Oh, never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
But never mind.
Yeah.
She probably deserved it.
Yeah.
But, she was speaking out back then, and you can maybe say she was just turning a phrase or whatever. But at that point, she said they're not human.
No, yeah.
And be that you take the David Icke approach and go,
Yeah.
"Those are people,"
Yeah.
or just mean like as in their souls.
Yes.
What they do.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's more to the point.
Inhumane.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the point.
Yeah.
And I do think that there is this horrible, seedy undertone
Yeah.
to the royal family. And I used to be very pro royal family.
Yeah, I was on the
Yeah,
Queen.
yeah.
So was I. And I went to Princess Diana's funeral, but now I think it's disturbing, and I think maybe we're at a point now where the time for the monarchy in this country has come to an
It's
end.
not looking very healthy, is it?
I went up to Buckingham Palace when they put all the flowers up against the gates. Do you remember the memorial thing? And the guy, what's his name from Harrods? What's his name?
Oh,
Fired.
Fired, yeah.
There was a coffee machine there for coffee, and it was packed. There were loads of people. I just out of interest, I went round and said, "Why are you here?" And nobody really knew. And what they just didn't know. They knew
Because everyone else is.
partly, but also one woman said, she said, "I just felt I had to,
Okay.
but I don't really know why." And there was something very specific about that lady
Collective
dying.
grief, wasn't it?
It was collective grief. Maybe people grieving for other things in their lives, and this was like a conduit for it. I don't know, but I remember that really, really distinctly, and it was a very weird time. And I remember when the Queen came down, and what was it? The Sun had show us your sad mom.
Oh,
or
that's
something. Do you
right.
remember
Yes,
that?
the Sun headline.
Yeah.
It
Do you
was,
remember?
wasn't it?
It was,
Well,
yeah.
it was ages before she said anything.
Yes, it was.
It was, yeah.
It was, yeah.
A long time.
But when you see the Queen after the Duke of Edinburgh died, and she was in the church, sitting there on a load of empty pews with a black mask on,
It was odd, wasn't it?
you knew that somebody had phoned the palace up and said she's got to play the game.
Yeah.
That's
That was
there's
odd.
no
wasn't
doubt
it?
about
What's
it.
that image?
Yeah, all on her own, nobody
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was horrible at that moment in her life. Being treated like that, I think was disgrace. And I think she hung on to the last minute because she knew.
I think she knew what was coming.
She didn't want her son getting in next
I think,
with his dodgy past and his dodgy mates.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think she
knew
the
exactly.
greatest service she did
Was to hang on.
Was to hang on as long as possible.
Yeah.
I think that was the Mountbatten influence.
Yes. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that
Because
family.
that's the whole thing with him, isn't it? The paedophilia thing with him. That is really weird now. It's all.
It just seems to be everywhere,
It's everywhere,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it's
Isn't it?
disgusting.
It
You
is.
know, you see it in counsellors and the police,
Yeah.
and then all this historic stuff comes up, and it's
Stories
like,
about Edward Heath and Silver Cloud throwing boys over the edge. I mean,
Well, there's
is it
stories about Churchill
And Churchill, yeah.
everybody.
everything. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
draw the line at Churchill though? He's all right.
He did an all right job.
He did all right.
But I think the problem is that now that in certain circles people could just throw anybody's name into the hat.
Yes, they
And
can.
people automatically go, "Oh, him as well."
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and now we've got AI, and I saw a video the other day that somebody had mocked up, and it was, Piers Morgan saying stuff about Billie Eilish getting all of her contracts cancelled because she said, we're living on
That's
free
right.
land.
Yes.
or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been seen by like 4.5 million people,
yeah.
and it was completely made up. and it's
it's a completely
AI.
fake, is it?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying
So
that.
people go, "Oh, that fits my narrative."
Yes, they do.
I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do we
Yeah.
get back
Yeah.
to like decency and be able to determine what is real and what isn't real?
I
Also,
think-
with the Epstein files, you can be in there having never met Epstein, can't you?
Absolutely.
Because it's if you're referred to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Do a
that
bit of
people's
sunbathing
names,
on the beach and,
yeah,
you know.
yes, you might just be referred to. Oh, speak to so and so, or
Yeah.
I heard from.
Yeah.
You've never met him. You've never been to the islands,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're in the files.
Yeah.
That is the danger with the
Yeah,
files.
it
The
is,
fact
yeah.
that just by
Association.
yeah,
Yeah.
just by
Exactly.
association,
Yeah.
or he's talked about you,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you must be.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that.
I
Yeah.
always find it weird in those files as well when you reference people or people are referenced in those files. It's not just like Bill. It's Bill Gates.
Yes.
First name, last name.
Yes.
It's like, here, plant this here.
Yes.
Just in case there's any doubt
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Who can be contacted at the following address?
Yes.
Date of birth,
Yeah.
national insurance number.
Exactly. I know exactly. Exactly.
So it is a slippery one, and it's guilty by association.
It
But
is guilty, yeah.
There are disgusting
Yeah.
things in there where people do need.
Yeah,
to help
I also wonder how much
and I
we're
wonder if
seeing.
They will.
What percentage of it are we seeing?
It's apparently we've seen 3.5 million of 6 million or something.
Oh, really?
Right,
Really? That's
right.
what that, yeah.
But
I mean, I think you're right to say that this would never have come. I think it's been going on for years.
I think it's been going on for thousands.
Yeah.
of
Do you think
years.
Henry VIII was
Yeah.
was a particularly moral kind of?
No, I don't think he
No,
was.
I don't think he was. No,
Well,
exactly.
who was the first? It was William the Conqueror, I think, the first Stater king.
Yeah.
He sent out the soldiers
Yeah.
to go to each farm to find out exactly what people had,
Yeah.
and that's what that became the Doomsday Book, didn't it? I think.
Yes,
Yeah. So these people have always been control freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From day one, and know everything.
Yeah.
And imagine if, as you say, King Henry VIII
Oh,
had surveillance.
had the phone. Can you imagine?
if he had social media now.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, what a nightmare.
And MI5 is disposable.
All these people.
And I think you're right. I think the social, social media has made this happen now, and we're seeing what's been there for years.
I
Actually,
agree. I think it's always been there.
We're finally seeing it. I think and and I think what I said earlier. I think people find it impossible to believe because it's so horrible.
Yeah.
And also, people got
you
their
know,
lives, haven't they? They wake up in the morning, they've got to
their
pay
kids,
their bills,
yeah,
they've got
exactly.
kids, and somebody says, "Oh, we've seen about the Jeffrey Epstein files."
Oh, not again.
I haven't got time. I'm
Yeah.
working. I've got screaming kids,
Yeah.
and
I've
my
spoken
wife
to
hates
people
me.
and
Or
give
whatever.
them information and details, and they go, "I just don't want to hear it."
Yeah,
I
well,
can't-
exactly.
Can't do it.
Exactly.
And I do
exactly.
understand that.
I do.
Yeah,
But if we
yeah.
don't listen and we don't be disgusted about it, then we are allowing it.
We're
That's
compliant,
exactly what
yeah,
I think.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
I think. So I don't really think.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. I don't think you should. Anybody should bury themselves in this stuff. But I think turning away is a really bad idea.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people.
I have to
are.
monitor how much I expose myself to it because I can feel myself getting affected.
Check out.
Yeah,
You
you
do,
do.
have
Check
to.
in with yourself.
Yeah, you do.
'cause
Absolutely.
It's grim, some of it.
Yeah.
Even on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I don't know if you saw the news today with Starmer and people. It's claimed that he, what did they say? He
found a letter,
He
haven't they?
wrote a draft,
Yeah.
basically doing a bit of a, what's what I'm looking for, treating paedophiles with kid gloves.
Right.
The CPS
That-
draft,
that's-
sort of like the CPS
When it
draft
was with
you
the
want-
CPS,
yeah.
that's kind of the implication of what the news is saying.
Well, he does know a lot about paedophiles.
He does
Well,
seem.
Jimmy
He
Savile.
seems to. Yeah, he
Yeah.
seems to. Yes. Yeah. It's also when we often talk about this. When I was a kid, as I said earlier, I just believed everything.
Yeah.
He just did. I used to buy the Independent when it was a broadsheet. Yeah, great paper. And there was a guy, Robert Fisk, I just remember his name, who was a Middle East correspondent. And I used to read his stuff all the time because he lived there. He could speak the language, spoke Farsi and all that, and he knew what he was talking about. Now it's just a rag, like all the others.
Well, there are some, aren't there? Whether you agree with them or not, when you listen to Douglas Murray.
Yeah, Douglas Murray's good.
Jordan Peterson, Gad Saad, they sound like people who've thought about what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's a considered opinion as opposed to just ranting.
What I mean is, I'm talking about frontline journalism.
Oh, no, they're useless.
Yeah. That frontline journalism is. I mean, there was Panorama and News at Night and all that stuff, and a lot of that news stuff is gone now.
Well, Question Time it's like a cartoon, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's just, I think it's the most dangerous program on television. Actually, I do, because it gives you the impression that things can change.
Yeah.
If you question people enough, things can change. It can't. It's kind of like Soma. It's like a kind of drug. It just keeps the masses quiet.
It gives you the impression that it's a free speech platform.
Yeah,
it's not that.
And it's not that. So I think it probably should be banned.
We're banning everything else.
I think we're banning everything else.
We might as well ban it.
Let's ban it. And did you see Jacinda Ardern today? Yeah. She's saying that free speech is the greatest threat to freedom.
Free speech.
Yeah, and it needs to be curbed. I mean,
Well, same
as that video. Have you seen it? The policewoman. Arguing in the street. And going, we have freedom of speech.
Yes, she's great.
Like, you have the right to walk away.
Well,
walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing with it, isn't it? I personally, just my personal opinion, I think the streets should be secular.
Yeah.
I don't, although I go to church, I don't think there should be Christian preachers shouting and screaming on the streets. And the same.
I would like anybody to do that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be shouting and screaming down the street.
Exactly.
I completely agree with you.
Exactly.
So apart from religious festivals and certain exemptions, I would just say I think they should be secular. Streets everywhere. Yeah. And you've got your mosques and your churches and your synagogues. Go
have your beliefs.
Go there and do your thing.
Yeah.
This new move to public prayer. Well, it's Matthew 6, which says if you need to show your prayer in public,
devotion,
then you're a hypocrite. You should be doing it behind closed doors. Yeah. It's kind of what Matthew. I'm paraphrasing because I'm not exactly.
Did you not
a theologian? So
he was a bit of a lad, old Matthew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yes, it is. I'm really pleased. I mean, because we've both been offered to stand in Parliament or for a seat of some kind, and we both said no. And the reason is because I think it would make us both really miserable. We'd be really miserable, I think.
Imagine the meetings you have.
Imagine the meetings you have, and the only way I can imagine being a political leader is if I was Kim Jong-un.
So free speech, though.
No free speech. You're an idiot. I'm going to shoot you. That's the end of the story.
Yes. Next.
Next.
He's just hung 2 Mossad agents this week as well.
Has he?
I believe. Yeah.
Really?
He found 2 Mossad agents.
Look, what sort of job is that? You're a Mossad agent. You're going to China. No!
Did you see that clip when after Ruben? What's his name? Fucking hell.
Lou?
No, Rubio.
Oh, Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio. Yeah. After his speech, he gave a speech at the Munich conference, following on from J.D. Vance. Yeah. And J.D. Vance didn't go down too well. Marco Rubio's speech went down really, really well because he was Mr. Nice, and J.D. Vance was Mr. Nasty. Yeah. So Marco Rubio went down really, really well, and Trump, obviously saw it and said to Marco Rubio, "That was a really great speech. Any better than that, and you're out." Yeah. And that's how it is. Yeah. That's how it is. And I think what's interesting about that is I think Rubio's looking more presidential now, strangely, than Vance.
Yeah. You think he'll be?
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
I've got no idea what do you think is going to happen over here? Do you think Starmer's going to? I mean, can he get?
I don't think Starmer has a chance. I think Rupert Lowe is gaining massive momentum. I mean, we're a week in now, and he's got 80,000 members already. As we spoke about earlier, Andrew Bridgen is moving over to represent them for North West Leicester, and I think that would be a good addition. I think that Andrew's a good guy. It took him a while to get there. I know he voted for the lockdown.
He did,
But then
we're all allowed to change our minds.
Loads of people did. Right?
They
can't
did.
pick somebody with a bat just because they didn't have all the information.
Exactly.
The information they did have.
And changing your mind is legitimate.
Changing your mind is a good thing.
Exactly.
If facts change, absolutely.
If Starmer went, who's going to sit in that lovely hot seat? Yeah. Who do you think?
Ed Miliband is no, seriously.
I think Shabana Mahmood will be in.
Oh.
Maybe. He's not going to see the end of his term.
No, I don't think.
And,
whatever happens, it's going to collapse, isn't it?
But I think what they will do is we're now in political turmoil because we're at a process where reform is starting to lose people towards restore. Political chaos. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 6 months if Starmer was out and they purposely called another general election to actually try and get in while there is all this chaos. It's the only point that they're actually going to have a chance.
What was interesting about was Andy Burnham, wasn't it? Because he looked like a shoe-in after Starmer, and Starmer put a stop on it. I mean, it's
lovely people, aren't they? Charming people. What a bunch.
Happy Christmas.
I mean, they must run out of knives to stab you in the back with, you know.
Well, there's that Beatles song, Little Piggies. That is so true. Little Piggies on the White Album.
They all deserve each other.
Great lyric, and it is about being stabbed in the back, and all these piggies got their nose in the trough, and we're just having to sit there and watch, you know. But
that's why I like playing in a band. Somewhere on stage we're playing Deeply Dip Your Arm Too Sexy, and I just think, this is ridiculous. Great. It's so stupid. I love it.
I love that song.
Yeah, me too, actually. Me too.
I prefer it. I prefer Deeply.
So do I. Yeah. The great thing for me is that there's a really long brass section, and I don't have to do fuck all.
And that brass section, that was arranged by Molly Duncan. From the guy from Average White Band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he did such a good job. So we were away on promo, and Deeply Dippy was sort of, I think you'd done the vocal, I can't remember now, but and I put the guitar down and they were putting some backing tracks down and we were off doing promo. And we came back and we heard the brass for the first time. And I just thought,
because it's huge, 32 bars or whatever it is, gap. With just the drums and stuff, and so we left at that point. And it was
went down the pub and came back for the second half.
And there's the brass. It's wow, this is great.
I mean, the guys. Graham Bonnet was the engineer. Tommy D was the producer. And then we had some other. Phil Spaulding, Chuck Sabre. We were very lucky to have some very gifted people around us.
And the recent we've had the Tracy. What's her name? Oh, honestly, names these days.
What? Tracy?
No, the singer.
Oh, Macy Gray.
Macy.
Tracy.
Macy and Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. Nice to meet you.
Macy Gray. And it was, what was cool about that, she talked about the production and she talked about the song. You know, and we know for a fact there are loads of people at Radio 2 who would hate her choosing that song. Because she's really cool and we're just stupid. And they would have absolutely hated the fact that
it will kill Radio 2 having to have that song.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll be sitting going,
oh no. Are you sure you want to do that song? I think she's great, and I try. It was her vocal. I try. Oh, fantastic! Really cool, really cool. So,
gents, what does the future hold for you?
We've got a new single out called "Raise Your Hands."
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Sort of anthemic, anthemic sort of sing along. We're out on the road from May, and we've been approached about a documentary. So we're talking to a film company about that, and then we can see how we feel.
Yeah.
Which is the nice thing about being independent. We tend to do it in 6-month batches. So we'll do that for then we'll stop and think. And then, or not.
The worst thing, we were talking to Barry Gibb once, Clunk, about...
Shall I sweep those names up?
Exactly. About songs. And he said it's a real, and what he said was absolutely true, which is he said, in a way, you're really schizophrenic about it when you're writing a song. Because you want it to be shit. Because you know that you won't be asked to do breakfast TV. But the other side of you wants it to be really good, but you hate doing breakfast TV. Right. So that's kind of how it is. So what we tend to do is we think about two songs ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And if it's a song that really motivates us, then we plow on. But if we didn't have anything in the offing that we liked, we'd probably just stop. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, we're good at doing nothing.
Well, I
can wake up, potter, go to a cafe, go to the gym, have an afternoon nap.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, staring out the window.
Yeah, and that's what I'd like about, we don't have managers or anybody, because they'd be on the phone.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. Go away.
Well, Robert Smith, I saw him being interviewed from The Cure, and he said they don't have a manager. Amazingly, The Cure don't have a manager. And he was saying their record company don't understand why they don't want to make more money. Why aren't you out there doing this and doing that? And doing? He said, we don't care. We've got enough, mate.
Yeah, got no bills, got a car.
His attitude was very, very, we're not motivated by the same thing the label is motivated by.
Yeah. That's very common.
I'm sure that's very common. I'm sure it's very common. But a lot of artists don't have the nuts to say what he was saying. Yeah, I don't think. But for us, it's just gigs and more recording in the studio tomorrow. And
more of the same, really.
More of the same.
And we'll
yeah.
see how we feel about it after the summer.
Doing shows makes a huge difference to your energy level.
It does, yeah.
Exactly.
It really motivates you.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It really, really does.
Traveling, and when I'm traveling, I hate it. When I'm not traveling, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's kind of that thing.
Yeah.
See, it's something I always wanted to do. I used to love singing. I always wanted to get up and get on stage and do it. It's something that I never really had the opportunity to do. But I can only imagine what you get from doing it.
It is really
it's
cool.
fun. And it's we personally prefer slightly smaller venues, but we did some big shows last year. And there is an ego thing about it, but you hit the guitar and you can hear it 200 yards away. You can hear that. You see the result of it. It's a very cool feeling.
It is. It is.
And we're lucky. We got a good crew, good band, good team around us. So we're lucky with that at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, there's one sort. Occasionally you get a gig that you just think, I don't want to. You don't really want to do this, or it doesn't feel right, or the dressing room is crap, or there's something about it that just puts you off. 9 times out of 10, once you get out there, it's fine. Once you get out there, it's fine, and people are lovely. People are really, really.
9 times.
People just generally are. Aren't
They are.
If they're not trying to control us.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the lovely ones.
They
exactly.
are.
Absolutely.
We went very quickly. I know you've got to go. Very quickly, we were driving in today, and this lady in front of us suddenly her exhaust pipe fell off.
Yeah.
And obviously it's Monday morning, there's traffic. This guy immediately in front of us in an Audi pulls up on the grass verge, gets out and goes to help her. Didn't stop it, just the first thing he did.
Exactly.
So we laughed, obviously.
No, your exhaust has fallen off.
No, he was great. He went right across the traffic, pulled up on the grass verge. People are lovely.
Like that.
Yeah.
And it's something that I always try and do. I mean, I was walking across the road here the other day, and this woman was sitting in the car with what looked like her mother, elderly mother, and her tyre had this massive, great big bulge outside of it, and I was like, dung, 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 knocked on the window. Their instinct was like, why is there a man knocking on my window? And like, wind down your window, and she was like, no, I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Your tyre.
Like, exactly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
People are afraid of it.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Which is horrible.
Yeah. There was a little old lady trying to cross the road the other day in Windsor, and she had the trolley, and you could tell she was really nervous. Yeah. So I just stood in the street and put my hand up, and all the traffic stopped. People were really cool. They didn't try and drive around or anything, And she was so grateful.
Yeah.
So, just a really simple thing. And it is that the kindness of strangers. It is that. Although when we were in Liverpool, very quickly, we were in Liverpool. Blackpool, years and years ago. And this old lady came up to me. She said, "Would you help me across the road?" So I said, "Yeah, of course." And we're back to a sound check. And so we crossed the road. And then she said, "I'm trying to get to the tower. Would you help me?" The tower was 2 miles up the fucking road. And we were walking at like this, and I'm thinking I'm going to miss the bloody sound check. So it can happen. Funny
No good deed.
No good deed goes unpunished. Absolutely right. But anyway,
Gents,
thank you very much.
I know you've got to get off.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your
Pleasure.
time.
Have we covered everything?
An absolute pleasure for me.
That's
Pleasure.
Pleasure, mate. Absolute
good.
pleasure.
Hopefully, I'll get to see you both again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's come to a concert.
Yeah, you must actually. Yeah, we'll be doing.